can go ahead and get started. Is that cool? All right. So just to kick things off, you know, there are loads of benefits to being the chair of this council. And even though I haven't been able to see all of you face to face and I've really missed out on the networking, one of the fun things that it's a tradition with the chairs is we do a past chairs dinner. Usually happens in the beginning of the year. And it's all the past chairs of the VIC get together for a dinner and pass on little pearls of wisdom to the inbound chair. Thanks to COVID, we had to postpone that until just now. And a huge, huge thank you and shout out to Julie at Circle Farms for hosting us and getting to have such a lovely dinner outside with everybody. And I just want to say thank you to the staff of Rochester and to all the past chairs attended for a really great time. It's nice being part of such a special group of people in this organization, and I don't know, thank you once again. So without further ado, we will kick things off. We've got a little wellness check with DeBellas and AJ Shear, and I'd like to welcome Joe Stefko from Rock 2025, who's going to be speaking a little bit. And our spotlight today is with Caroline Kunze. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I butchered it. From 585 Magazine. So AJ, if you want to kick us off, that'd be great.
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. So my name is AJ Shear. For those that don't know me, I'm the Director of Marketing for DeBellas Subs. And thank you, first of all, for having me today to talk about what we've been doing and, you know, how we are trying to navigate these.
Oh, you're cutting out, AJ.
Sorry, AJ, I think you need to unmute yourself. In an act of muting everyone, I accidentally muted you. So go ahead and unmute. And reminder to everyone else to please mute yourself or I will silence you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So I don't know what anybody just heard. Anyway, thank you for having me. I'm AJ Shear, Director of Marketing for DeBellas Subs. And I am, I guess I'm here to tell you guys about, you know, what we have been doing and how we have been navigating times of challenge, especially for the restaurant industry, and you know, how we're trying to get through this, and really what we are doing and what we have tried to do from the very beginning is anything we possibly can to stay relevant. It's you know, we've known from early on that sales were going to be tough, that our transactions were going to be down, but the way that we could stay relevant and the way that we could continue to operate our business and keep as many people employed as possible, help our communities as much as we possibly can. So, you know, it was early on in March when we made the decision to say to ourselves, we think that there's an opportunity for us to help with food banks, for example. You know, we're not a company that could create masks, we cannot create PPE equipment, but we could feed people in need, and in terms of those that were food insecure. And we had another angle to feed people through just helping feeding essential workers and those that were working on the front lines, or as everybody says, healthcare heroes. So we ran some donation programs, and we were able to raise about $365,000 for food banks across our footprint, about 100,000 of which was right here in Rochester that went to FoodLink. And in addition, we started programs that were we call Pay It Forward, because as we started doing these food donation programs, we found that our guests were saying, hey, can I leave $20, $30 to feed the next group of healthcare professionals to come in? Or can I feed the next group of police to come in? And we weren't really in a position to accept cash. So we created some programs where you could order sub trays from us or box lunches online for 50% off. And what we would do then is we would accumulate all of those, and we would send them to different hospitals in across all the areas that we operate in. And what we found is that was helping all of the frontline heroes was that we actually gained a lot of new customers. A lot of people have never had our food before. So we found a way to both help our communities and to actually kind of have some creative marketing and gain new guests and actually bring transactions up. At the same time, because we were busier than we expected to be, we were able to maintain all of our staff as well across our 40 plus locations, which was really awesome. So that's kind of what we've done, and we're not stopping either. We are kind of pivoting our focus. We focused a lot on healthcare, but we're moving on to teachers now. We kind of feel that teachers are going to be a very strong focus and something that we really need to help out. In Rochester, we're going to be feeding the Rochester Central School District during their training. We're going to be feeding in Youngstown, Ohio, all of their teachers as well. And these are the next group of people that we think are really going to need some help. So we're going to be there for them. And that's kind of just what we've become. Is we've become this sandwich brand that is there for people when they need us the most. And so we've been proud to do that, and we're going to continue doing that. Not sure anybody is familiar with Rochester Accessible Adventures here in Rochester, but they work with adaptive sports and helping people that are physically disabled be more active in the sporting community. And they have a new program where people can become inclusivity ambassadors, and anybody that completes that training, we're also sending a free small sub to. So again, just trying to be as possible. So that's kind of the update on our wellness and what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and we have no plans to stop. I can't hear anything. Something's wrong with my computer. Sorry.
No, you're good, AJ. Everyone was being very diligent and was muted, so it's all good. But that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think, Brittany, you may need to unmute yourself.
Well, it's 45 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to go where we're going to put it.
Unmuted. Okay, I'm unmuted. Yeah, thank you, AJ, so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep up all the good work. I love the sandwiches. All right. Okay, now we're going to just jump right in and introduce our next guest speaker. So Steph, oh my God, I can't speak English today. Stefko from Rock 2025. He's the president and CEO. And again, if you have any questions for him, just please private me in the chat, and we'll make sure to get them answered for you. And Joe, I believe we had a couple questions that were already sent to you ahead of time, and I know you've got a great presentation, so I will go ahead and just turn it right over to you.
That sounds good. Thank you. I do have some slides to guide the conversation, so let me bring those up. I hope everybody can see those.
Mm-hmm.
Visible? Awesome. Probably best if we start at the beginning. I know we want to talk about the new Greater Rock Place brand and the new marketing campaign that we've just launched, but I thought that before we jump into that, it would be helpful to provide a bit more context on Rock 2025, which is where the Greater Rock campaign sits as one of a host of capacity building initiatives that we're helping to drive with our partners in the Rock 2025 Alliance, and give you a sense of where else we're investing and coordinating to help accelerate economic growth in the region. And I thought I'd start with just a brief history on how we've gotten here. The work to create Rock 2025 actually began in the fall of 2018 when the Boston Consulting Group was engaged by some of our leading businesses in the region to work with all of our regional economic development partner organizations at one table, and really to do a couple of key things. Number one, to benchmark our region's overall economic performance against peer metros across the country, and also to examine how we're fundamentally structured to do the business, to do the work of economic development, who's doing what, where we may have overlapping organizational responsibilities, importantly, where there are gaps, and where additional investment might be helpful. And I do want to stress that this was really set up from the very beginning to be through the lens of the private sector. It was not and is not about seeking more public sector money, moving more government dollars into our economic development system. Rather, it was about asking the question of how the private sector could step up, could help coordinate, could help make strategic investments to expand our overall economic competitiveness. And two key findings that came out of BCG's work, I think, are fundamental to understanding where we are today with ROC 2025 and where our focus areas are. First of all, really no surprise that our region's economic growth rate, while it's been a growth story here for the better part of the last decade, that growth rate has been surpassed by most of those peer metros that we compete with. In its work, BCG assembled a peer group of 52 other metros across the country, similar in size, labor market, economic activity to Greater Rochester. Incidentally, we're now benchmarking on a monthly basis a whole series of metrics against that same peer group of 52. But of that group, in March of last year, just before ROC 2025 was created, you see where we ranked. We were in the 40s, by and large, on metrics like job growth, labor force growth, unemployment rate, business starts, and regional GDP. So that is, that was kind of a fundamental call to action to the region's private sector. Secondly, the work revealed, and I think this is really important, it gets at the core of ROC 2025 strategic plan, a host of opportunities to deepen our capacity, to expand the horsepower of our economic development infrastructure, those partner organizations, to better coordinate and more intentionally integrate our strategy and priorities, and inject more private resources into that economic development system. And the result then, really the framework for implementing the BCG recommendations became ROC 2025. That was established in April of 2019. It's a 501c6 and C3 nonprofit alliance of the economic development partner organizations that serve the Greater Rochester region. It's a coordinated structure that, I think it's important. It's both innovative for our region and notably was informed by really extensive research of some of the best-in-class regional economic development systems that we see elsewhere in the country, places that we're competing with day in and day out across all of our economic development verticals. Another thing I want to stress is that as we think about ROC 2025's place in this ecosystem, this is not another economic development organization. It doesn't displace or supplant the work of any partner organization. It is rather a vehicle for better coordinating our economic development work across 5 key focus areas, which I'll talk about in just a moment, one of which is regional branding and marketing. And maybe most importantly, it's about increasing the resources that are available to those partner organizations to do the work that we really rely on them to do in support of our region's economic health. ROC 2025 at its core really has 2 primary responsibilities. The first, as I said, is to drive significant net new resources, private sector resources, into our economic development infrastructure to give those partner organizations the fuel they need to compete more aggressively and successfully for job growth and increased investment in our region. And secondly, to essentially serve as a convener, the framework for implementing this multi-organizational capacity building plan. And to give you a sense of who those primary partner organizations are around that table, we do all of our work through and with these primary partner organizations. They include Visit Rochester, the Greater Rochester Enterprise, the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Development Corporation, and then all of our public sector partners in the city, the county, the Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Council, and the other counties. This isn't just a Rochester-Monroe County effort. Our footprint matches that of the 9-county Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Council. So those alliance partners are really fundamental to the work that we do. And our capacity building plan really centers on what is a 5-year, $20 million strategy, which is intended to elevate our coordination, our competitiveness in those 5 strategic focus areas. And it is fueled entirely by investor partners in the philanthropic sector and the private sector. Again, this is not about injecting public sector money into this. This is a call to action to the region's private sector. And what you see on the screen right now is the current list of our board level investors who have made commitments to ROC 2025's work in support of that coordinated strategic plan. Really, with their support, we're making these investments in the 5 strategic focus areas. And you'll see now kind of how those 5 focus areas fit together almost like pieces of a puzzle. The first is our talent strategy, which the Chamber is our lead partner organization on. And this is a multifaceted approach that is focused on expanding the size of our employable labor pool here in Rochester. It's about retaining talent that's here, attracting world-class talent from outside the region, and also partnering to address barriers to economic access for individuals that are in the region, but are dislocated from that economic opportunity. Among the efforts here, and I won't go into detail on all of these, but these include things like Campus Rock, which is a strategy that we're beginning to roll out, focusing on better engaging the 80 to 90,000 students that are enrolled at our 19 colleges and universities at any given time. We want to better connect them to the community. We want them to experience Greater Rochester beyond just that, distance between their dorm and their apartment and their classroom, right? We want to increase the number of co-ops and internships that are available to them. We want to look at opportunities to scale programs like NAS College's Spark program, which does a great job at keeping students in the community between semesters over the summer, giving them exposure to, co-op and internship opportunities here in Greater Rochester. At the same time, there are efforts focused on enhancing connectivity between employers and individuals. One of the things that we're building out now is creating a universal regional career portal, which you can envision as kind of a single, common front door for all of our employers in the region that are seeking talent and all individuals that are seeking employment opportunities. At the same time, developing a campaign to go after that ex-Rochesterian boomerang population and really try to accelerate the trend that we've been seeing over the last 10 or 15 years across upstate New York. And as I mentioned, also there are efforts as part of this strategy to address economic barriers for those that live here already. Then we have two strategies, which I think we can talk about in concert with one another: our business retention and expansion effort, which focuses on companies that are already here, and our business attraction effort, which is focused on marketing to companies that are outside the region, selling them on the merits of locating in and growing their business here. Our investments in these two categories are focused on helping Greater Rochester Enterprise expand its horsepower to connect with more incumbent companies, to ensure they have the supports they need to grow and to thrive, and at the same time to market our region to site selectors and C-level executives outside of Rochester on why they should be here, why Rochester, Greater Rochester, is the place for them. There is also a downtown redevelopment and innovation focus as part of ROC 2025 strategy, where we're investing to expand program management capacity at RDDC as one of our partner organizations and pilot some innovative projects in the center city that are intended to drive more activity, enhance that street level experience, and contribute to placemaking. And then, of course, there's our regional branding and marketing work, which I know we want to spend some time talking about today. This is focused really on telling our region's incredible story in a louder, prouder, and more integrated way across our partner organizations. Again, this is one element of our strategy, albeit a critically important one. But it's about telling the region's story in a powerful, I think, bold and audacious way, right? That weaves all of these strategic focus areas together, elevates our work to communicate the essence of the region to the business, tourism, education, arts and culture, healthcare, higher ed, all those other economic sectors, both locally and across the country. And just going back to my initial slide, this is one of the gaps when BCG benchmarked our regions, our region's approach to peer regions that we're competing with. BCG said there was a clear opportunity to not only better coordinate across partner organizations the messaging that we are pushing out, but also to better resource it, right? So this is an opportunity, again, a call to action to our private sector to help support that regional branding and marketing work. So I do want to show you a few elements of the new Greater Rock campaign. Before I do that, though, I just want to stress a few points. First of all, I think this effort is different in some key ways. As I said before, it is designed to support our economic development marketing. But at the same time, and I'll skip down to the fourth bullet here, it's also about engaging and energizing the region, right? Almost think about this as, kind of trying to build, galvanize the region as ambassadors in this effort, really create a movement, amplify the great stories that exist in our region. So at a real level, this is about galvanizing. the region. It's about starting this movement that can help us celebrate our pride of place. It's also intended to be, in a different way from those efforts of the past, a sustained multi-year effort that is supported by and activated by our partner organizations, each of whom was deeply involved in the research, the ideation, and the creation of this initial platform. I think another important difference is in how the campaign was built. One of our agency partners, Mesh and Movement, undertook a really intensive research and discovery process, which engaged well over 100 individuals in the community and across the region, diverse in race, ethnicity, background, age, industry, part of the region they live in, role in the community, and really one of the hard truths, if we want to call it that, that came out of that research phase was that there is no one story that defines our region. We're not what we were, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, where we had this kind of singular top-down identity defined by one company or three companies. We're now a multitude of stories, and so there's no one story, right? That really is our story today, and I think you see that in the initial brand assets, and you'll certainly see that amplified in subsequent brand assets. So the brand needs to be an evolving one. It needs to have on-ramps for every individual, organization, business in our community to help inform this mosaic with their story of Greater Rochester going forward. And I'd also note that with Meshin, we actually used an interesting AI tool called Quid. Some of you may be familiar with this, to track sentiment on all written and social media and journalistic coverage of our region. What were we talking about? How were we talking about it? How were we being talked about by those outside of our region? Really defining that starting point, sizing the challenge, was so important when you talk about trying to shift a narrative or build a narrative. You really need to know where you're starting from. And so that upfront work really helped to inject in this process from the very beginning diverse perspectives, real perspectives on how we view our region and how our region is viewed. And it helped to put parameters around the authenticity of the narrative that we hope to build. It helped to highlight the perceptions that this effort needs to address, the needles that it needs to move, and for it to be successful, to engage with and resonate with those in our region. And I also think it helped to define what the effort needed to do to be different, right? That it needed to be informed by diverse voices, that this couldn't be top down, that this needed to be, continues to need to be, an evolving brand story of our community, which, like any community, the story changes, and we needed to be intentional about providing on-ramps for people to inform that narrative with their own story, and that it needed to be real. And I think one final point I would offer before I share the anthemic video with you is that this really provided us a jumping off point to stop being humble about our region's brand and our region's story, and start to fly the flag first within region, but then as we move to phase 2 of this in the next couple of months, to kind of scream that story to the rest of the world. So I am going to, you can give me 1 second here. Hopefully the audio of this will play.
There's been a lot of talk about getting back to normal. Let's not. Let's leave normal in the dust and look forward. Let's be greater. Greater is what we're made of. Greater is our reason to rise. Greater is the mother of reinvention. Greater is the only way we know. It's our game-changing, rule-breaking superpower. Our spirit can't be contained. Our grit, it's right here in each of us. Our way forward, light it up together. We are Rochester. What could be greater?
So just to share some of the other thematic and visual assets with you, you'll see really throughout phase one here, this is about, at its core, this is a call to action. This is an invitation to those of us in Rochester and Greater Rochester who share that pride of place to inform this story as it continues to evolve, to inform future phases of this campaign. So you see the Greater Rock badge here. You see some of the other variations of the Greater Rock badge here, which you will begin seeing on social media. We have people that are sharing their stories, people that are sharing their videos and their photos that really to illustrate what's great to them about our community and our region. So you're beginning to see these badges be used in the social media feeds from Greater Rock and from Rock 2025. Just a couple of concluding points here. I think that this becomes bigger than just an economic development marketing initiative. We see this as evolving as a truly open source brand identity, something that represents the many voices, the diverse perspectives that define our region. So for business, it's about flying the flag for why Greater Rochester, right? It's about our greater talent, our greater attractions, our greater economic assets. For individuals, it's about being a hand raiser, serving as an ambassador, telling your own unique greater story and celebrating the stories of others within the community. And collectively, this is about kindling an energy that galvanizes those of us that live, work, and play here, that feel so strongly that pride of place in Greater Rochester, within a platform that, at least from Rock 2025's role in this and our economic development partners, we can leverage in a coordinated way to shout the story of this community and this region, from the hilltops for the rest of the country to hear as we reassert our place in the in the national consciousness. And finally, as we look forward, phase one, which we're in right now, will run through about the end of September. Phase two, which will come online as we move into October, will expand that phase one in region investment with new assets, but we'll also launch a parallel campaign outside the region, which again will be focused on telling our story, the story of this community and region in a bold way, reasserting Greater Rochester's place, fueling our work in a coordinated way across Rock 2025's priority areas, especially business expansion, business attraction, and talent attraction. So why don't I stop there, and I look forward to having some conversation.
There, I'm unmuted now. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for you in that video. I think I can speak for a lot of people on the call today when I say that, in the midst of several months of talking about being shut down and closed off and hidden and protected and all of that, it's so nice to see that there are plans for growth and future. And I don't know, it just makes me have a big fat smile on my face. So that's really good. There are quite a few questions that I have been fielding while you have been talking. But just to touch briefly on that four-letter word, COVID, and the shutdown, has that affected your plans in any way in the conversation, all of this that has been going on?
It certainly has impacted the near term. I think about it through the lens of our partner organizations whose focus has, particularly in the case of, think about Visit Rochester, right? Focusing on rebooking conventions that were postponed during the pandemic. I think about it through the lens of the Chamber or GRE, whose focus has pivoted more toward addressing the immediate need, the immediate economic pain of individuals, businesses of all sizes within our region. So the near-term focus has changed. I would say from Rock 2025 standpoint, we have, and we've continued to support our partner organizations, as they've had to pivot their focus a little bit. But our long-term objectives here of building the economic development capacity and horsepower of our kind of organizational infrastructure here hasn't changed. We know that this is this is not something that gets accomplished overnight, and I think you can make a really strong argument that the reasons for creating Rock 2025 in the first place, accelerating economic vitality in this region, increasing the number of economic opportunities in this region, growing the size of that economic pie in this region is more important now than ever. So we haven't shifted our focus in terms of the investments that we're making. I would offer that, over the last 2 to 3 months, certainly in the context of Black Lives Matter and calls to address social injustices in this community and beyond, we've certainly used that as a jumping off point to reflect on our strategy, which is only, a year, maybe 14 months, in action right now, right? And just taking a closer look at at what our role is as we expand the size of the economic pie in the region, and how that role needs to be holistic, right? That this can't just be about creating jobs if we have real economic access, obstacles to economic access in our community, right? If we're going to bring the entire community along as we grow the size of that economic pie, our perspective, our role, our strategies need to be holistic in nature. So I think from a strategic standpoint, that's one of the ways in which Rock 2025 has changed. But again, that near-term focus, understandably so on the part of our partner organizations, has really shifted in large part to addressing the more immediate economic pain that's being felt in the community.
I gotcha. So speaking of growing the pie, we've got this little thing called a solar eclipse coming in 2024 that's going to draw hundreds of thousands of visitors to the region over the course of just a few days. How has there been any conversation in your world about that, and what has it been?
We have not talked specifically about that. That certainly is an opportunity for us to draw attention, eyeballs, and visitors to our community, obviously. And I think from Rock 2025 standpoint, I think about one of our primary partner organizations being Visit Rochester. We want to not only contribute ideas to that, but as ideas like that come up, we want to be able to leverage our role as a coordinating and funding vehicle to invest in those opportunities to make sure that that we're leveraging all we can, whether it's the solar eclipse or other things that make our community, our place in the world unique. We certainly want to be a partner in that.
Do you hear that, Deborah Ross? I'm pimping you out, girl. All right. Well, then I guess you had mentioned earlier about the boom and student co-ops. What about this other little group called the millennials who are coming into their own right now? Any plans on involvement about that?
Absolutely. And I think we can tie this back, for starters, just to the work we did in building Greater Rock. So we made a lot of outreach to the millennial, to the young professional group. And, going back to some of those hard truths we heard as we were kind of sizing the challenge, as we were building the Greater Rock brand, that a number of themes came out consistently in those conversations. That, I think the one that we heard most consistently was there is a new generation of young leaders in this community that are ready to step up, that are ready to have their voices heard. They're ready to actively participate at those tables. And, thinking back on Rochester, Greater Rochester's history over the past generation or two, they've not always had an opportunity to have their voices heard, and they've not consistently been invited to those tables. So that's why it was really important to us as we were beginning to build Greater Rock and then kind of test the creative concepts after the ideation process, that we reached out and connected with that millennial group. As we move to the next phase of Greater Rock, certainly moving kind of post-COVID and beginning to build out additional assets, We will be, for the in-region campaign, we will be reaching out and touching that group again, using their leveraging their perspective and their energy to help inform what those future assets look like. I also think about some of the input that we've been getting from our volunteer work groups that are informing our talent strategy. As I mentioned earlier, one of our strategic focus areas is on leveraging that boomerang population, and related to that, doing a much better job of increasing our retention rate. Every year, our college grad retention rate, every year across our 19 colleges and universities, we graduate somewhere between 18 and 19,000 students. And traditionally, we've made it way too easy for those students to walk across stage, grab their diploma, and go somewhere else to start their careers. So that whole Campus Rock effort is about engaging that kind of next generation of leaders in our community, and not just as a kind of as a consumer group for the work that we're doing for our strategies, but really helping to inform those strategies. So we've got, a great group of young professionals, of college students, of millennials around those talent strategy work groups, work group tables, and it's only added to the richness of those discussions.
Great, that's great. So I guess my last question / thought to you is, now that you've got everybody all riled up about all the positivity coming into the Rochester area, how can you get involved? And how can you, if you're a business that wants to become involved in this growth, it's really more from both sides of it. How can you get involved to help? How can you get involved to be on the receiving end of some of this, to develop maybe some things that you're working on to help growth in the area? How do you jump in?
Absolutely. So I'd say at the outset, know that this is going to be a sustained, ongoing effort, right? And we want to make sure that every, not just business or organization, but every individual that wants to plug into this effort to help inform the effort has a pathway, has an on-ramp to do it in a way that's comfortable to them. This is, as I said before, this is an open source brand identity. And so for the businesses, for organizations, I think this is about flying the flag on why Rochester and why Greater Rock, doing that intentionally, celebrating the fact that they're here and the decision they've made to be here and stay here and grow here. Emphasizing our greater talent, our greater attractions, those greater economic assets. And for individuals, it is about being a hand raiser. It's about being an ambassador, telling their unique greater story, which, as I said before, there's no one story here, right? Every individual story of what makes Rochester greater is different. Mine is different from yours, is different from Rachel's, and different from everyone's on this call. And it's really the power of that mosaic, the power of that cacophony of perspectives that really informs our story here. So collectively, this is about kindling that energy that galvanizes all of us across this one region, those of us who feel so strongly about that pride of place. Tactically, how can you get involved? You can go to greaterrock.com. You can certainly learn more about ROC 2025 by going to rock2025.org. But as far as the campaign is concerned, greaterrock.com is your source. You can look at all of our social media channels, all the platforms, and share all the content that we're pushing out there. And we're also looking for content that people are feeding to us that we can then amplify. Again, we know that as I think about those of us that were around that initial planning committee table, Rachel and I included, working with the agency partners on developing this, we knew from the very beginning that, we didn't have the answers. The story wasn't ours. We didn't own the story. We didn't own the narrative. We saw our role and the campaign's role really as a conduit to surface those stories and to really amplify them in a coordinated way across all of our partner organizations. At the website, you'll be able to download some additional assets, a Champion for Greater Rock badge, and also there's something called our Guide to Greater, which is linked on the landing page, which has all kinds of other suggestions on how individuals and businesses alike can engage with and support the campaign.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and bringing us all of this good, positive energy, and it really is exciting to see the growth here in Rochester. We keep getting mentioned, you know, in all of this. I keep seeing articles and how Rochester is becoming one of the best places to be post-COVID, and there's so many reasons why. I mean, I can tell you personally as a transplant from the South that you know, I've been here for 13 years. And I love it here. So it's exciting to see all the growth that's going on. And thanks again for joining us and answering all of our questions. And please feel free to join us again. And Rachel, I see you put up the links to the website, so y'all jump on and check it out. And thanks again.
Thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was awesome. Let's see. Okay, so now we're going to get into our spotlight with 585 Magazine and Caroline. If you are available and ready to go, you can jump on.
I am. Good afternoon, everybody.
Welcome.
So it's fun to follow Joseph because, like him and his organization, 585 Magazine, loves our area. And for the last 6 years that we've been in business, we have done nothing but promote the area, talk about things people want to know, people that are interesting, businesses that are interesting, things to do, and of course, food and drink, because we love food and drink at 585. And despite COVID, we have published every issue on time. We're bi-monthly for those who may not be aware. And as a matter of fact, Jane, our editor and owner, is not here today because the September, October issue had to go to print today. So she's busy finishing that up. I wanted to talk to you about, you know, while we promote everything and we talk about what's great about our region and businesses and interesting people, we've also seen what COVID has done to a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of clients. And we've done, you know, what we could to try to help our businesses. You know, just little things like when all the restaurants closed and they started doing takeout, we started publishing on our social media and stuff, you know, who's doing takeout to try to help them. We gave restaurants free copies of magazines to put in takeout bags. We started a digital newsletter every Friday to tell our readers and followers digitally what was going on, what kind of virtual events you could go to. Just updates and news because people were sitting at home and they were bored and they didn't know what was going on. And that way it helped engage the community and also engage with other businesses. But as I talk to people, particularly businesses in our region, the Rochester and Finger Lakes area, the tourism industry, of course, anything related to that has been so hard hit. And I realized something, that in order for those businesses to continue on, they really need to focus regionally. We need to help each other to come back from this. In particular, if you think about it, if you're in the tourism industry and you're relying on people to come to our area, and New York State is making it so people from over 30 states have to quarantine when they get here, or to enjoy things quarantined in your hotel, it really does discourage travel. Plus, there's so many people who are afraid to travel. They're afraid of going too far and getting COVID. So in order for these businesses to come back, it's really about our region helping each other. So we've really trying to write the July-August issue and the September-October issue, a lot of content where we're promoting people to enjoy the region, shop local, spend your money locally, help these little businesses come back, and, you know, not-for-profits, cultural, hotels, wineries, everything in our region that is dependent on tourist dollars. So because of that, we are, you know, trying to work really hard with our advertising partners in whatever way we can, and not-for-profits, if we can help promote things for you, if we can come up with a, you know, the right advertising package for you, if we can do whatever to get you to move forward, help you move forward, we're trying to work with people. So we just wanted to reach out, say that, you know, we understand our region needs to help each other. And we're there for anybody who needs help, or you have something going on and you'd like to promote, us to help you promote it in some way. Please reach out to us, either myself or Jane Milliman. That's really what I, came on to talk about today, was us helping each other, helping our neighbors, and helping our community move forward.
That's great, Caroline. If you don't mind putting a good contact point for you in the chat, that would be fantastic. I couldn't agree more. I mean, the one thing that I've learned in my own business throughout this whole thing is that collaboration, even with your competitors, is really the way that we're all going to get through this. And we've been saying all year that this theme, "It takes a village," has never rung more true. So really, really appreciate your time and letting us know what's going on. And you've got a great publication. And yeah, I mean, being a tourist in your own town has never become more important for this region, the area. And we're entering in, we've had a beautiful summer, and we're going to have a beautiful fall, and we got to take advantage of it and help these businesses out where we can. So thank you. All right. Let's see. Okay, we're moving along swimmingly here. All right, so now I'm going to call on the VIC committee updates for the recovery-focused committees, and I'm going to jump in with Deb Ross. If you want to unmute and hop in.
Sure. Sorry. Am I here?
You are.
Okay. So I'm Deb Ross. I'm chair of the Museums and Attractions Committee, working closely with Rachel Labor-Polvino and Diana Keating, who help administer it from the Visit Rochester side. So we've been meeting every few weeks, and let's see, I believe our next meeting is coming up next Wednesday afternoon. And Rachel can correct me if I'm wrong about that. But basically, we are a committee of museums, attractions, and all else in hospitality who want to make sure that we're sort of sharing as we go through the recovery. So we have already held one training session featuring our wonderful Estrofest humor group, who helped us walk through some scenarios that helped us, with frontline questions related to masks and everything else COVID. So that's actually available on a Google Doc, and I will post that in the comments. So anyone else who wants to join us, just let me or Rachel or Diana know, and we would love to add you to the list.
That's great. Thank you so much. Greg reminded me in the chat that I need to sort of explain a little bit about the recovery focused VIC committees as opposed to our regular VIC committees. And I have to say, our committees regularly are an incredible group of people that are, doing great things and talking about different segments of, how we can get more involved in the community, how we can extend stays, whatever. But the recovery focused committees, there are literally, double and triple the amount of people who would normally participate. And if you want to get involved with any of these, please reach out to Visit Rochester and get on board, because there's a lot of great conversation, a lot of great ideas. And again, collaboration is key in getting all of us back on track again. So Elena, I want to call on Elena for Rock for a Reason. So Elena, if you want to unmute and jump in, that'd be great.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so Meredith Howie is our chairperson. She is currently helping paint a mural right now with the YMCA. I'm very excited. She is right at the Lewis Street Child Care Center, so partnering up with our member, the Y. Also, she's working with the child care team, and they are in need of supplies. So maybe what I can do is put the supplies that are needed. If anyone would like to make a donation or contribution, school supplies such as pencils, black and blue pens, school lined paper, erasers, crayons, markers. I would be happy to coordinate with anyone who's interested in donating. I'll put the information in the chat. You can contact me directly. As well as Meredith Howie for information on Rock for a Reason, but basically looking to give back to the community, volunteer, as well as donations. So stay tuned, and nice to see everyone. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. All right, Shane Tavolino with social media. Shane.
Hi everyone, Shane here, chairing the Social and Digital Management Committee. We are really excited. We are rolling out the official member social media guide. Last year we started developing this and it's finally ready to share with all of you. It is made by members for members and it is going to be available for download after this meeting in the partner bulletin section of the extranet. And it's also going to be attached to the next official VIC email that you receive. If anyone needs help with their extranet access, I did just put a little note here in the chat of who to email. That's Chelsea at Visit Rochester, and she can get you set up. We're really excited to get that out to everyone. A lot of love went into that, and we hope it's a really good resource for everyone, especially in a time like this where a lot of our connections are made digitally now instead of in person and face-to-face. Our next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, September 8th at 1 o'clock. We're going to continue the discussion, hopefully a part 2 of how to continue to monetize on virtual events. And hopefully we have some success stories. So if you are curious about what we do, feel free to join us at that time. You can email me or Chelsea. Have a great day.
That's great, Shane. Thanks. You guys are doing some incredible work, and thanks. It shows for sure. Maureen with membership. Maureen Hill.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maureen Hill. I'm the marketing manager for Iconic IT, but I'm also your chair for the Membership Engagement Committee. And what that committee's focus is providing opportunities for us to work more closely together, get to know one another, network, and hopefully be able to support one another, through business or just knowledge of what we do for Rochester. So the initiative that we've been working on for the last few months, if you haven't heard about it, is called What's on Your Plate. And that is a lunchtime learning opportunity. And it spotlights Visit Rochester members who have pivoted through these uncertain times. It's an online event, and it's a chance to learn and network and basically just take a social break from your daily work routine. So during the lunch hour, we Zoom together, we share what's new, and then we will hear from a couple of the spotlighted members who get to share their pivot stories and answer questions that you ask, that the committee has come up with about their reopening and their story. So both VIC members and non-members are welcome to register and participate. The next one coming up is August 28th, and we are going to hear from, and I'm sorry, I don't want to say anyone's name wrong, but I think it's Sarah Tone is how you say it, from the Genesee Country Village Museum. And then we're also going to have Hillary Olson from the Rochester Museum and Science Center. And the two of them are going to talk about their venue's journey and what's going on with them now. So if you have any interest or people who are interested in hearing more about it, I'm going to put the registration link in the chat box now. And if for some reason you can't make it on the 28th, we do post these as recorded videos up on the Visit Rochester on the website. We have a special landing page now, and so I will post that link as well. Some of the previous people we've done include Record Archive, Via Soul Wine Bar, Black Button Distilling, the Red Wings, Bill Gray's Regional Iceplex, and then most recently the Strong Museum and Seneca Park Zoo. So they've shared their stories. They're really great. The segments, maybe 25, 30 minutes long max. And I encourage you all to go check it out and join me on the 28th. Finally, if you're interested in helping plan these type of virtual networking events, I'd love to have more people. The committee is getting stronger, but we could always use more ideas and more people who want to help. And we meet right now, because this is so busy, every single Friday. In the mornings, we meet at 9 o'clock. So if you can jump on a Zoom call with us, that'd be great. Message me privately, and I'll give you the link to join in.
Thanks, Maureen. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I love attending those because you get to kind of dig a little deeper with the public persona and get past that and really what's going on. So keep up the good work. And I have to admit that the steering committee shamelessly stole your what's on your plate and segued that into what's in your glass, and we're gonna jump into that with Cat Ball a little later.
Do it. I love it.
this may or may not be a little iced coffee with some bourbon cream in it. I don't know.
A little
Um,
lemonade.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to it. And I do want to jump on the next one. So we'll touch base after. John Tasson with the events committee. If you are ready and available, let's hear from you.
Yes, hey, how's it going?
Hey.
So yeah, the event enhancement committee, as you know, we've been meeting just about monthly, and just with open discussions, kind of navigating through the reopening guidelines that are coming out, and you know, talking best practices, sharing ideas. We've had a lot of great communication. So our last meeting was on July 29th. A few of the topics we hit on were how people are handling health screening at their venues and events. We talked about compliance issues and how to, you know, de-escalation of guests or staff on complying with guidelines as far as wearing masks or being socially distant. Talked about physical adaptations and operational changes, sponsorship and marketing. We really hit everything, and it's a fun hour every time we get together and talk. Our next meeting is going to be next Tuesday, August 25th at 2:30. I'll post something on the VIC member forum later today on the Facebook page to let everyone know about that. So if anyone else is interested in joining us, please feel free. And that's about it.
That's great. Thank you so much, John. Emily or Sarah on the tour and travel committee?
Hey guys, I am Emily Fell with the RIT in a conference center co-chair with Sarah Tone from the Genesee Country Village Museum. We don't have a ton to share with you this week, but we did meet last week and we started to discuss the very preliminary details of doing a social event with all of the tour travel clients. So if anybody has any insight or ideas on what we could do, we would always appreciate the input. But we're hoping to pull something together. We are still working on the phone books. I know we've talked about that for the past few months, but still work in progress. We have not set a date for our next meeting yet, but when we do, we'll post it on the Facebook forum. And if anyone is interested in joining, let myself, Sarah, or Diana know.
All right, thanks so much. Miss Wendy.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, you all know that the best part of working from home is that I get to sit outside on Tuesdays. And then for those of you who know me, I have kids patiently waiting in the backyard to blow off their bottle rockets. So I'm gonna have to make this quick. So that's the story of my life. They don't really care that I'm working or not. So anyways, I am part of the hotel community task force, and our members are hotel people. We've met monthly. Our chair is Amy Del Corvo, who is a meeting planner, who brings one of our largest conventions every year to Rochester. She's not on the call because she's busy planning her virtual conference, which you'll hear about at some point in time. However, anyways, so we're busy. We've sent out 3 newsletters to meeting planners, over 600 people each time, just giving them updates of what's going on in our community, our reopening processes, what's going on in the hotels. Our hotels, as everyone else on this call they all have been struggling. So we're continuing to move forward to support each other, share ideas with reopening processes that are going on, not so much right now. However, we're optimistic. Our last call, we talked about the newsletter. We talked about if there were any reopenings in the hotels and as far as pools and fitness centers and what have you. Positive note that I think is very exciting for the hotels. Thank goodness for our 19 colleges and universities who are able to support some of our hotels right now with some of the college students who need to to quarantine before they go back to school. So that's been a nice little plug for them. And then so our next meeting is next Thursday, the 27th at 9 a.m. and we'll put that on the VIC forum, but that's it for now. So thanks.
All right, thanks, Wendy. Appreciate it. And Monsieur Leduca, restaurant update.
Hi, everybody. On behalf of Kelly Bush, our Restaurant Recovery Task Force Chair, and the President of the Rochester Restaurant Association, our next meeting is going to be next Tuesday, August 25th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. I just put the link in. And the meeting is for restaurateurs to connect, to share best practices. Having Kelly Bush as our leader. She's able to shed some wonderful insight on the current regulations, best practices, and also is connected and in tune with the New York State Restaurant Association. So Amanda Fox and myself are in constant contact with Kelly and New York State Restaurant Association. We share information through the Facebook forum when applicable, but we are going to get together next week to regroup, and we'd like to spread the word on that. So if you know of any restaurants who would benefit from 35-40 minutes together with Kelly Bush and other restaurateurs, please share the link, have them contact myself or Amanda, and we'll get them engaged. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, she's done an incredible job. You know, that and running her own establishments. It's amazing what she's been doing. I think that wraps up the committee updates. Now I'm going to call on Rochester staff. So Greg, you can just jump right in since you're already unmuted.
Correct and ready to go. Good. All right, thank you. So staff updates. I'll provide an update from membership, and hopefully everyone received Don Jeffrey's letter last week regarding membership and membership dues. The message of the communication was that your membership is very important to us. We are starting to send member invoices at this time, and if you're able to pay your membership for the year, we graciously thank you, as the money goes towards backing our members, selling and marketing our members and our destination. So if you're able to do that, we again thank you. If not, if you're unable to pay at this time, we ask that you contact us. And Elena Oyer and myself are out and about now contacting our members, having conversations, but we want to hear from you. And we want to know what you need, and we want all of our members to stay engaged until this is all over. And so we encourage you to utilize your member benefits and reach out to us and let us know what's going on with your organization and if there's anything we can do to help. We are signing on new members these days. And so my second message is if you know of anybody out in the community that could benefit from member benefits, including our Visitor Industry Council and our networking, our committees and task force, please send them our way. We're interested in speaking with them. There are industries and organizations right now that are doing well, that I think would be a good addition, in addition to some that could utilize our help as we start to market locally, regionally, over the upcoming months. Another thing we want to let you know about is we have been formulating the Rock Ready Promise, and you can see that information on our website as well. If I can ask one of my co-workers to put the Rock Ready Promise link up in the chat, to fortify that and unite us as a community, those that subscribe to the Rock Ready Promise, we have printing as we speak, decals for your door, as well as a placard for you to post in your establishment that reinforces our Rock Ready Promise with the cleanliness and sanitation guidelines that are being met. So more to come on that. Watch your newsletter on ways to receive your decal, your window sticker, and your placard for your organization. Another thing that I always like to touch on, we have 414 members in our VIC member forum on Facebook. So if you're not a member of that closed group, I encourage you to do so. And anyone that gave a report today, or if any members have updates or information that you'd like to share with Visit Rochester membership, we encourage you to put that on the forum. It's where you can find out about future meetings, committee updates, as well as what's going on with our members out in the community. So please do visit that site often. Encourage your coworkers to sign on as well. And please do post in the forum, because it is a great way to get information out to our active membership with Visit Rochester. And lastly, all of our staff, and I have to thank our entire team here at Visit Rochester and 45 East Avenue. We have been hand delivering Explore guides to our members. We've gotten them out to all of our hotel partners at this point, but if anybody out there would like a box of visitor guides, the 2020 visitor guides with a lot of great information for folks that might be visiting you, please reach out to me personally and we'll make sure that we get you some 2020 Explore guides. Thanks very much.
That's great, Greg. Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off what you were saying, the forum is an excellent way for you to post what's going on, especially as you're getting reopened, so we can come out and support you. And, you know, if you have an offer that you want to offer up to Visit Rochester members to entice them to come in, that's great. But just pure and simple, just get what's going on with you out there so we can support and help share and help get businesses back in your door. And, you know, as far as membership goes, there might be colleagues of yours or other businesses that you know of that are kind of hemming and hawing, and I don't know that I can afford it, but I can tell you with the utmost certainty that this organization will help you in any way that they can to build your business and be a support system for you. And, you know, for those that are struggling and not quite members yet, the biggest reason to join is that you wouldn't be alone any longer. And it's a group effort, and we want to help wherever we can. So I'll get off my soapbox and call on Rachel. Thanks. You know, I like to pimp out this organization whenever I can. So Rachel, why don't you jump on?
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So just a few quick updates. Last month, I believe we had just launched our Rediscover Rochester initiative. So I'm kind of piggybacking off of what Carolyn was saying earlier. You know, we really know the importance of getting folks here in Rochester and just the Finger Lakes region in general to get back out there, explore what's going on in your own backyard, but also really trying to emphasize, you know, we know there's a lot of great outdoor activities in the broader Finger Lakes region, but here in Rochester, we have no shortage of things to do. So we did create our Rediscover Rochester video and are backing that up with a lot of great social content. And I will put it in the comment or in the chat in just a second, but we have a main hub, a landing page where we're kind of positioning all the different trip ideas, ways that you can get out and explore here in your own backyard, news on what's open right now, what to know before you go. And, you know, right now we've got lists of outdoor dining. So I'll pop that in the chat too. That's kind of been our home base for a lot of our promotional efforts for Rediscover Rochester. And then we're actually also really pushing right now golf. So we have a social campaign running that's promoting the Rochester, New York Golf Trail. We know that the golf courses are, you know, certainly they've been deeply impacted by, you know, rules on events and whatnot, but the greens side of the business, the actual golf courses, they've been having a great summer. So we know that a lot of people are eager. A lot of the folks on this call, I'm sure, have been hitting the greens and getting some games in. So we have a push right now for golf and just helping people be aware of all the great courses we have here and to make a long weekend or a golf getaway out of it. So we're promoting golf and pushing the outdoors. And then we're also prepping to launch a new digital push for capturing a drive-in market. So I don't know if you saw today, there's 2 more states that were added to the governor's travel advisory. Delaware, I tell you what, Delaware, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. They just can't make up their minds. So to be safe, we are focusing a lot of our efforts right now within New York State and parts of Pennsylvania, that core drive market, which again, for us has always been a big focus, but we are excited to be gearing up to do a new digital push specifically to promote local regional getaways within that drive market. So more to come there. And one other thing is we did create, and a lot of the folks on this call are included, a list of things that you must do this summer in Rochester. I cannot believe summer is slowly making its way to a close, but I'll share that in the comments as well, because it's just a really great, again, kind of your own bucket list, a good way to get out and explore. And we are going to be creating something similar for fall. So really trying to focus on the short term, getting people out and about safely, and most importantly, getting visitors back into this community and spending their money. So more to come on all that, but thank you again for all that you've been doing. And just another reminder too, that if your business has COVID compliant photos, Obviously, the way you're, with PPE and things like that, please send any photos, videos our way. We want to make sure we have that in our database to use moving forward. So thanks so much, everyone.
Yay, thank you. All right, Diana, how about you?
Hi, everyone. It's great to see your smiling faces. And I'm thrilled to be resuming some of our tourism marketing initiatives. So unfortunately, at this time, that does not include Canada. The border closure has been extended to September 21st. But we'll be modifying and tailoring our family marketing program that was put on hold back in March. And we're looking forward to a robust fall campaign that will be attracting regional New York State audiences to our community, much in line with what Rachel mentioned. For international markets, we continue to inspire travelers in the UK, Irish, German, French, and Chinese markets with our Wine, Water, and Wonders program. And we are releasing a new video to encourage those markets to plan now, but travel later. We're continuing conversations with domestic tour operators who have pushed many or all of their trips to 2021. And we are gauging their interest for our virtual fam tour this fall. And I think that's it. So it's great to see all of you.
Thanks, Diana. Appreciate that. All right, Dee, you're up.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. So we continue to experience cancellations in the meetings and convention segments. Currently, we are experiencing them through the end of the year, so November and December. We are, however, excited to be working with NICEGate, which is an annual conference of ours, on their very first 100% virtual event. So we will keep you updated on that, but it gives us a chance to offer some exciting new services that we haven't been able to provide to some of our clients in the past. It's a great run for us. We are registered for Connect Marketplace, which will take place in October. It is an in-person show based out of Las Vegas. However, there is a 50% virtual component. So our association team will be taking meetings with one-on-one client planner meetings, which will last for a 3-day span. So we'll give you more information on that. Throughout the month of August, I'm just going to switch over to my sports hat right now. Libby and Rich have been taking appointments every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They are currently in their last week. It is a conference called Sports ETA, which is the Sports Business Exchange. It's a virtual conference. So they have been able to meet with over 20 organizations one-on-one, along with a handful of group meetings. And we have been successful in receiving some RFPs for future years. So we will be sending those out to our hotel partners. This is one of our very first fully virtual conferences that we have attended. We're getting great feedback. We're excited to see that return on investment. And the New York State Public High School Association is continuing their RFP process for future years. Libby and Rich are working diligently with them to promote the area and a number of different sporting events and having them placed throughout the region. Thank you.
That's good news. Great, thanks. Amanda Fox, where are you at?
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Great to see you all. So as you can imagine, and Dee mentioned, a lot of our events are a little bit slow right now. However, we have still had a few sporting events take place and do have a few continuing to go on for the fall. And we are also engaged with some meeting planners on brainstorming ideas and different tactics for their virtual events. So that's been definitely a new take on services, but really exciting for us. And just a reminder that our unique venues are live on the website now. So if your specs are not live with photos, please feel free to reach out to Elena or myself anytime and we'll get those loaded for you. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Don Jeffries, you're wrapping it up. Be on the call?
Hi, everybody. Yep, no, I'm here, I think. Thanks, I appreciate it. First, I want to thank Joe for a great presentation. You know, Visit Rochester has a board seat, and I am on the leadership of that group, and it's a great group, and it's fun to be part of a group that's going to bring some pride back to Rochester. So we're pretty excited about that. A couple things on the statewide level. The state association, which I'm president of, is currently looking into tourism improvement districts, and that's not something we're going to do in Rochester, but Long Island and Albany This is a district much like a business improvement district, only for tourism. So I'm working with Long Island, Buffalo, and Albany on that. It requires state legislation, so we're working on that. On another note, we did have a call with the governor's office about opening up the limit, getting rid of the limit of 50 people and upping that somehow, and stressed. And one of the things that we contributed that is that so far the cancellations of meeting and conventions and sporting events in Monroe County alone was a negative $55 million. So we continue to stress that with the governor, and what we've been told is he's really not going to look at anything till after the schools open up. That's what he's looking at. He wants to see what happens. The legislature is going to come back, but we understand they're only going to do legislation with a virus and stimulus. So I don't see any of our statewide things that we want to get done coming up anytime soon. Congress is stalled. Most DMOs like Visit Rochester, Visit Syracuse, almost all of us are 501c6s that are not eligible for the PPP. And I want to give a shout out to our county executive and our county administration. We had a meeting with Adam, and he is fully funding us because he realizes how important it is to reinvest in meetings, conventions, sporting goods, and tourism. So we are in much better shape than most of our counterparts across the state. I am also on the convention center board. We just received a hotel study of what should happen to the Riverside Hotel. We're going through that study, and at the next VIC meeting, I'll have a synopsis for everybody as to what the recommendations are going to be. We also received notice that the Holiday Inn will be closed. I believe it's until the first of the year, but Dee can correct me if I'm wrong. And with that, I just want to say, Brittany, congratulations on a great past chairperson's dinner that you hosted. It was a terrific event at Stokey Farms. Social distancing and everybody had a great time, and it was really nice to get together in person with a really great group of people. With that, I just want to thank everybody for all you're doing for Visit Rochester. Without our membership, we couldn't achieve the great things we're doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. All right, so now we're actually going to end this thing on time today. So we've got some 30-second member announcements. I will kick things off with the Penthouse at 1 East Avenue. We have partnered with some local area restaurants to create a really cool thing called Dinner with Friends. We've worked with the Hideaway, and we've worked with Marco Kelly. This coming weekend is going to be the Vesper. If you're not familiar with that restaurant, it's amazing. And Jason Steinberg is a really awesome chef, and so you get to have dinner with your friends on the terrace with some of your local favorite restaurants. I put the links up in Eventbrite. We're also doing a kickoff party for Labor Day weekend, and anything you can find, we switched over to top from Eventbrite, or you can follow us on social media. All right. Let's see. So Kim Osier, yay, Kim. Talk to us about what's going on with you.
Okay, am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay, but you can't see me. Okay, we have Pound the Ground for Veterans, and it's a virtual 5K. I know that sounds like, oh, we're doing that all the time, but this is really cool because all members of Visit Rochester will get $5 off the $25 fee, the entry fee, and you will use the code ROC member. I will put that in the notes for you. You would go to Visit Rochester, or I'm sorry, VOCROC.org, which is our website, to register. You're going to get a really unique 2020 Racers t-shirt, and we have camouflage dog tags that has the VOC logo on one side and the Pound the Ground 2020 on the other. All of that can be found on our website. You have to register by Friday to get the freebies. So it's a great cause. It's a great support. You do get a lot out of it. You get to pick your own course, do it wherever you want, you know, go to one of our great parks or down in the city and walk or run your 3.1 mile.
Oh, that's great. Now make sure you put the link up both on the forum and to and here in the chat, okay?
I sure will right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Jeff had to jump off the call. Simon, Spencerport Canal Depot.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
So I just want to chat to you all about a couple of things I've got coming up in September. The first thing is the Rochester Recreation Festival, which I ran for the first year last year. We're actually doing an in-person festival, Saturday, September 12th in Spencerport. Currently, because it's a smaller festival and we're doing it on a large space, there's lots of opportunities for people to socially distance. The other thing I want to tell you about, a couple of things about the festival as well, is we're still looking for recreation organizations to come out and set up a tent and tell people what's going on. They are free 10 by 10 spaces. And we're also looking for a couple more sponsors just to help us really do everything we want to do at the festival whilst keeping people safe. The other quick thing I wanted to tell you about was the RecFest Challenge, which is a new thing this year. It's a scavenger hunt of sorts. There are free and paid sign-up options, and it runs all of September. Basically, it's encouraging you to get out of the house, go and visit some places and do some activities. The more activities you do, the more points you get, and there's a chance to win some prizes. If there are any recreation-based venues that might want to sign up to be on the official list of venues for the challenge, you can let me know, and I'll put the details in the chat and on the VIC member forum on Facebook.
Great, thank you so much. Miss Julie, your turn.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so you might notice from, I don't know, my background that we are super excited to talk about another Visit Rochester collaboration. So this Thursday at Stokey Farms, Milestone Movies is going to be having a drive-in in our parking lot, which I'm just so excited about because I've always wanted to have a movie here. It's going to be the family-friendly How to Train Your Dragon. It'll be playing on a giant inflatable screen that starts 6 foot off the ground. So it's going to be great seeing from your vehicle. We're only going to do 100 cars. So every seat in the house is going to be the best seat in the house. And on top of that, we're going to open our bounce pillows, our low ropes course, our straw fort and slide, some of the other activities that are all included with the one price of $30 per car. StokeyFarms.com's event calendar. I'll put the link in the chat. Gates open at 6:45 this Thursday. Movie begins at 8:30, and we are giving away a free car in our trivia here coming up. So come join Stokey Farms and Milestone Movies.
Yay! That's also one of our purple bag prizes for later on today, y'all. So hang on tight. Tammy with Colonial Bell.
Hello.
Hey.
My picture's not working, but we have a couple of things coming up this week. We have our murder mystery dinner cruise on Thursday evening. We have a Beatles cruise with live music on Friday evening, and we have our family pirate lock tour on Saturday afternoon from 2:30 to 5:30, where everyone can come dressed as a pirate.
Oh, that sounds fun. Put those links up, would you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Diane Ross.
Hello, everyone. Diane from Proforma here, the Promo Diva. And I saw something on a new products webinar the other day, and I just wanted to share it at the meeting. It is safety seal labels for doors in hotels, office environments, cruise ships. Basically, I think it was designed with the travel industry in mind. Safety seal labels indicate if a sanitized space has been opened or compromised. And with all the concern about COVID, these, from what I understand, have been selling like crazy in the hotel industry. The label is 3 inches by 6 inches. It's temporary. It leaves no residue, and they get placed on the crease of a door. So it partially covers the door jamb and the door after the room is cleaned and sanitized. It's only a single use, and a void image appears on the front if the seal has been removed. I have a great flyer that explains this in more detail. that I am going to put on the Facebook forum. So please take a look, and if you'd like more information, let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. That's awesome. I think that concludes the 30-second member announcement. So we will, at this point, conclude our meeting and finish up.
Brittany?
Yes, I'm sorry. Did I miss somebody?
Yep, real quick.
Yeah. Oh, Doug. Oh, shit, Doug. Oh, ooh.
I just
my
wanted to
gosh.
introduce the newest member of JR Language to everybody. This is little Dougie. And he's been my joy for the last 3 months during quarantine, just helping us get through and spreading lots of smiles.
Oh, Doug. Yay. Sorry. I didn't mean to cuss in your face. Sorry.
Okay, he doesn't understand yet.
Happy baby. That's so always beautiful. Oh, so cute.
Say hi.
Yay. All right. Did I miss anybody for 30-second member announcements? I think that at that point, that's just it, right? We're good? Okay. So let's roll into some quick trivia. So if you have not been on one of these calls for the trivia portion of this game, what I will do is I will read off the questions. They will be numbered. They have to do with companies and that are giving prizes as well as Rochester trivia. And when you answer, you type in the number of the question and your answer. The first one to do that is wins the prize. And we've got some great stuff going on today. So to kick us off, we're going to give a free movie pass for 1 car for this showing of How to Train Your Dragon at Stokey Farms. Thanks, Julie. All right, so question number 1. What is the name of the dragon in How to Train Your Dragon?
Got to put the number on.
Got to put the number on. Simon. All right, that goes to Simon. All right, number 2. Hang on 1 second. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Number 2, for tickets on the Sand Patch for a 90-minute cruise. This is number 2. All right, what were passenger boats on the Erie Canal called?
Number 2.
Number 2. What were passenger boats on the Erie Canal called?
Don't all answer at once.
I know. Oh, there we go.
Simon, you can't win. You're too close to the canal. Tammy.
Yep. Yes. Okay. Very good. All right. This is for another set of tickets for the Sand Patch. This is number 3. So what nickname was given to the canal by people who thought it was a waste of money? This is number 3.
Number 3, Michael Hardy.
Yay.
How many months can you win in a row, Michael? Big ditch.
Okay.
There's some good answers in there.
I know, there really are. There really are. Okay. And I have, all right. Sorry, you guys. I messed up and I didn't print the right page here. So here we go. Okay, I got it now. All right. So, for DeBella's box lunch for up to 25 people, this is question number 4. Okay. While DeBella's may call New York home base, it's actually not the state with the most DeBella's locations. What state is? This is question number 4.
Oh, Richard Cobb, so quick.
Woo! All right, and finally, another pack of for a DeBella's box lunch for up to 25 people. This is question number 5. DeBella's, as we know it today, opened its first location in 1998 in the suburb of Greece. The next 2 locations were in New York. Fourth DeBella's was opened in what state?
PA, New Jersey. Michael, you can't win twice in 1 month. Lori Klatz. Want or need?
I'll need to, and all let's talk on. Michael Isabella is funny. Did we get it?
Yep, I have all of the winners, and we will reach out to get you your prizes. Thank you very much.
All right, so that concludes our August edition of VIC. Thank you to everybody who joined and participated. Shout outs to Charles and Joe from Rock 25 and 585 Magazine and Caroline. And now we are going to switch over to what's in your glass.